Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. Trambakam yajamahe, Sugandhim pushtivardhanam, Urvarukamiva bandhanan, Mrityurmukshiyamamrutat.
Sahanavavatu Sahanabhunaktu Sahaviyam Karavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityo Ma Mritangamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Good morning. Today we shall learn something about education. Already few quotes of Swamiji have covered, but this is a very big subject. So please see page number 20. The second quote in the page. Real education is that which enables one to stand on one's own legs. The education that you are receiving now in schools and colleges is only making you a race of dyspeptics. You are working like machines merely, living a jellyfish existence. Real education is that which enables one to stand on one's own feet. The education that you are receiving now in schools and colleges is making you only a race of dyspeptics. When did Swamiji say this? 130 years back. The education that you are getting in schools and colleges is making you a race of dyspeptics. You know, today India has become the diabetic capital of the world. We don't play sports. Today, most of the schools, they don't have playgrounds also. People don't want to study in government schools where they have playground. There is playground, but there is no PET available there, right? We are all living in urban spaces where schools, they don't have playground because land is very costly. Not many schools can afford to play playground to their children. Okay, we don't play. And what we do, what is our schooling? Morning 9 o'clock you'll go. From 9:30 you sit in the classroom. 4:30 you come out of the classroom. Nearly 8 hours you sit continuously. That will continue for how long? For nearly 15 years, that kind of education. Teacher after teacher will come. First Telugu teacher, next English teacher, science teacher, social teacher, mathematics teacher. The children will sit. What else will happen? Indization will happen. Dyspepsia means indization. Race of dyspeptics means because of that chronic indization. Today, modern doctors say, what is the source of diabetes? Chronic indization. Why chronic indization happens? Because you don't play, you sit at one particular place continuously for 8 hours, 9 hours. That's not for 1 day or 2 days, 1 week or 1 month, for nearly 15 years. What else will happen? So things have not changed. Swamiji said it 150 years back. The child actually will be bubbling with energy, right? Instead of helping the child channel that energy well, you are actually making him a constipated human being. You don't let the energy find its right way. So, as Albert Einstein says, the conventional education system destroys 75% of the natural intelligence of a man or a woman. Why? What is conventional education system? There is some information in the book. That information is transferred into the brain of the child. And the child is asked to by heart things that are there in the book. And then an examination will be conducted to test the memory of the child more of it than not, right? How much you have by hearted from this book? How much you have absorbed? Very less. How much you have by hearted? Most of the teachers, they say sometimes, you have to write the same language. The language that you use in the textbook, if the same language you write, you will get good marks. Some such instructions also some teachers give. And also, of course, they score well. When they evaluate papers also, if the information is exactly the same like it is in textbook, more marks are given. So there are various things, but that's not the way to foster the genius of the child. Child should be given tasks, okay, and ask the child actually to come out with solution. And they will think that's how actually the brain becomes sharper, right? And also, the children will always be interested to know multiple things. You just give them only one thing and force that upon them, they'll be bored. Today, why you are here, so early in the morning to learn English? Why? In school, when you were in school, that did not happen, right? They could have, that time itself, expose you to book reading. Somebody could have facilitated, somebody could have made you into a kind of group for discussions and debates in English language. Right? What you would be needing in future, people should have thought at that particular point of time. That is not happening in children. That's why I'm saying this. In India, as I already mentioned some time back, skill and education, they don't go together in our country. Only in this country that happens. Education is something separate, skill is something separate. So after when you come out of the colleges, when you go for employment, and the employer says that you don't have the necessary skill, and then you wonder now why I didn't get the skill in school and colleges. So that orientation, best you have to shift the orientation of education system. Now it's focused more on information collection and more on academics. From that to skills. The problem is this parental mindset. National education policy advocates that actually we have to give vocational training to children from 6th class onwards. But it is not happening. It's not turning and transforming into a reality because of parental resistance. There are some mental blocks. What are the mental blocks? If you make the child work with some tools, instruments, some appliances, parents get terrified. You are making him actually a kind of laborer, they think. Wherever there is little physical work is, but the child is interested to work, hands-on experience he will gain. Today we are talking about entrepreneurship. We have to make entrepreneurs. We have to create entrepreneurs. When you will create entrepreneurs, when you give the child actually practical works, and then by 17, 18, he will be bubbling with so much of eagerness and enthusiasm that let me create something of my own. By 21, he will start something of his own. And then he will become entrepreneur. Instead of a job seeker, he will create jobs. That kind of building up of entrepreneurship skill and zeal should happen at a school level. Today, actually, at the age of 30, you ask the young man actually to become an entrepreneur. All of a sudden, he'll be sitting for competitive examinations and then which is an unrealistic competition. The day before yesterday, a young man came. He was preparing for civil services. He told me, Swamiji, I just completed my graduation. I want to sit for civil services. I'm not able to focus on my studies. Then I asked him, what is the probability of you getting into civil service? How many posts are there? How many are appearing? He said 0.02%. Fine. So then what is plan B? Do we have a plan B? If you don't get into civil services, what will you do? Do we have an alternative plan? No, Swamiji, if I keep a plan B, then I will not be able to focus on this study. Thinking that anyway, even if I don't get into civil services, I have the second plan, second option. But I said, that is not the way. If you don't have a plan B, what happens? Actually, tension comes, fear comes. What if I don't get? Because the probability of your getting into civil service is 0.02%. You must bear in mind that you are attempting something actually where your probability of getting that particular thing is 0.02%. But still you are so hopeful of getting it. Okay? So it's an unrealistic hope, I say. Don't live in fantasy, don't live in an airy fairy life. Just be practical. If you don't get civil services, okay, right, you have the right 3-4 years, you'll work for it. If you get, it's fine. If you don't get it, for you to get it, it is 0.02% probability. Maximum probability is not to get it because this competition is so unrealistic in that sense. Then he doesn't want have. I said have a plan B. Go for a PG. Parallelly, you do that much of whole day. Even if you want to prepare, you'll not be able to concentrate on your books. 4 or 5 hours of study is more than sufficient if you want to 2-3 years. So have a plan B. In the worst case, if you don't get it, then I have this. So then you will have fearlessness. You will be confident. ఇది రాకపోయినా అది ఉంది కదా అని ఒక ధైర్యం వస్తుంది. ఆ ధైర్యంతో నువ్వు బాగా రాయగలుగుతావు సివిల్ సర్వీస్ కూడా. ఆ ప్లాన్ బి పెట్టుకోకుండా జస్ట్ ఇఫ్ విల్ గో హెడ్ డెఫినెట్లీ ఐ విల్ గో. He was showing me Swami Vivekananda's quote. Swami Vivekananda's quote, he was showing, have faith in yourself, Swami said. So everybody will think like that, right? All the lakhs and lakhs of aspirants who are aspiring for civil service, everybody will think, let me have confidence in myself. But still, there are only those many posts. Only those many will get. The others have to go back. So this is the problem in our country because we actually, I have already mentioned, choose our objectives in life, goals in life, taking society into consideration. What society values, what society respects, actually will weigh heavily upon our mind and we choose accordingly, not according to our individual aptitude, individual inclination and proclivities. And so we tend to become less practical than other races, though we have the genius and ability to work hard. Where we fail is we don't make our choices according to our own individual aptitude, but it largely society that determines, fear of society. So everybody will go into the same thing. If somebody says civil service, everybody is civil service. Somebody in group 1, group 2, everybody is civil service. Lakhs and lakhs of people without even thinking what is the probability of my getting into the service. So this is an impractical way of doing our life. So you need to be a little practical. So don't let society come in the way. You just choose your goals and objectives according to individual aptitude. As last prayer meeting, we discussed this. First comes if you take up a novel idea, if you take up something innovative and really creative. First comes ridicule, then comes opposition, finally comes acceptance. Okay? So dare to do something different, dare to do something really unique. Then you are a hero. Okay? Don't expect acceptance from the day one. First comes ridicule only. But you should have courage to hold on to your own idea and ideal. Thank you. Have a nice day.